Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. In case you didn't know, that's Christina Loken on the screen, and that photograph was taken by Getty Images in February this year, i.e. that's what she looks like today. The only thing I've ever seen her in is that Terminator movie, and that must be her natural coloured hair, not the blonde that was in the movie. And the obvious question, even if I was as wealthy as Musk and Bezos or Ericsson put together, would I go with her? Not a chance. She's 3 inches taller than me. Her husband is even taller than her, i.e. 6 inches taller than me, and she's happily married and she's got a son who's probably also taller than me. Besides, she used to be a lesbian. She came out as one a long while ago. That's the thing with these Hollywood women that come out as lesbians. It's usually a reason they can't get a man, so they turn to their own sex, and then when they can get a man, they automatically drop being a lesbian. That's the kind of mentality you get in Hollywood amongst these women. So Christina there is more off limits than any of these other actresses I've had as wallpaper. Anyway, enough about Christina. Now, you all probably know of the various waves of feminism, and the fourth wave of feminism being the latest. Well, apparently we're now on the fifth wave of feminism, because I found this. As you can see, it's fifth wave of feminism, and this is her campus. Now, this is a Japanese site. It's International Christian University, and if you drop down, the fifth wave of feminism, called Feminism, maintains a focus on encouraging, embracing or celebrating male tenderness and male gentility, wherever that is. The essential positive qualities of masculinity are congratulating them on the same extent that the negative masculine traits are lamented and condemned. That's just a word salad, meaning they want a guy who's masculine and tender at the same time, but then again the guy would be boring to them. It says one aspect of this wave is encouraging that men also need space for comfort and emotion. We have it's called MGTOW and hobbies. For too long, societal expectations have dictated that men must be strong and self-sufficient. The fifth wave of feminism focuses on breaking down these barriers in creating a more inclusive, supportive environment for everyone and their mental health. And then it goes on about it. This is in Japan. Over in America, I found this site or Medium, and this was done on December the 12th, 2023. This one was done on 24th of August, 2024. So America's sort of caught the wave coming from Japan, and how far we've come, where is this taking us? And then the most curious phenomenon has occurred from my observations by listening to others English-speaking territories over the last year or more. In the year end of worldwide pandemic, that should be a capital, had the chance to hear people appropriate nothing and express their concerns for the direction the Me Too movement has taken. The wall it has driven itself into, that could be the metaphorical wall that women go into, and the dead end that is once called cancel culture, which is a corrective desire for condemnation without rehabilitation, without grace or forgiveness. In other words, women being bitches, for people, especially men's many ethical failures. There's no ethical failures in men, just women are too picky. And from New York to California, in London pubs, even in cities like Paris, Nuremberg and Shanghai, it should be a capital, I've seen people who care too much about human progress roll their eyes at the state of the world and at such important ideas and movements are being fumbled by torch-bearing by the desire for revenge. And then we go on to feminism. If you drop down, once again, into that article, the fifth way the feminine, what's called feminism, maintains a focus on encouraging, embracing and celebrating male tenderness, male gentility, the essential positive qualities of masculinity, and congratulating them to the same extent as negative masculine traits are lamented and condemned. Same with that article. A support system for the so-called divine feminine, carefully observing and offering critique to the not yet divine masculine qualities for everyone. Take that at whatever you wish, preferably with a large dose of salt. And it says, in one particularly striking conversation where a black non-binary femi, in other words, a black tranny, was discussing a new male lover, they spoke even of the value of male protection and the historically long-standing sense of safety that was being held in masculine arms to anyone can evoke a hug or cuddle of a loved one. I felt so safe. They, doesn't say whether it's he or a she, though they said nothing as they laid together. That sounds creepy. And then that's it. It's a bit odd. So I looked around some more and I found this. Again, Medium. This was 13th of September last year. This one, December 12th last year. So this bit came before this one. What is feminine feminism? Good question. The fifth wave of feminism explained to the untrained eye the current trend of women seeking to enhance feminine energy in their lives might look like a return to traditional gender roles. I want to explain this is not the case. And then in Portugal, we had a women's workshop on feminine and masculine energy. I bet that was fun. And then it says, as we continue to evolve our understanding of gender equality, a new wave of feminism is emerging that calls for the recognition and celebration of feminine energy. The fifth wave, which I call feminine feminism, emphasizes the value of qualities traditionally associated with femininity, not just in women but in society as a whole. And then last year there was a trend in Western society where people are interested in enhancing the feminine energy in their lives. It should be women were interested. Some example, women seeking to connect more to their menstrual cycles and ditching hormonal birth control, embracing clinical living, wherever that is, instead of a more masculine linear approach to life. That could be women not being pseudo men. Books and podcasts, well, it is a business on care economy and feminist economy. Coaches and social media influencers helping women reconnect with their feminine nature, if it goes back to ditching this toxic femininity. That's pretty good. Helping women and men with their masculine, such as Teal Swan, whoever she is, Kelly Brogan, whoever she is, and Lauren Crenn, whoever she is. Courses helping women heal their wounds with masculine energy, but that was fun. Like Loving University and Sophie Josephina. Leadership coaches promoting emotional intelligence over IQ. Yeah. Organisers and people that promote the importance of rest and sleep, well, that's natural. Keep your rhythm going in your body, no matter what sex you are. Women's Circle and like Elizabeth Gilbert, the Relaxed Woman, and the Danish Mellow Space. Women's circles and women's book clubs exploring femininity together. Women defining the meaning of stay-at-home motherhood, like my mother did, such as mother entitled. It all boils down to a toxic talking shop with women like that discussing things which have no relevance in the real world except to that crowd themselves. And there's a simp there in front. And then it goes on. First wave, second wave, third, fourth, and we're on the fifth wave, yada 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 yada. Now, the fifth wave we're supposed to be in, but fear not, we got the sixth wave coming, the sixth and final wave of feminism. This was done May the 9th, 2018, by naturally a woman, Queenie Alexandra. And she's resisted writing about feminism all her life. No, maybe, but she'd been thinking about it for decades, no doubt. For reasons that are personal to me, but no doubt reveal themselves in the near future. And it was just a book that she reads. And it says, if the deals are done with women leading, what would the world we live in? What world would we live in? The one we've got. And if women were leading the world, we'd rapidly go backwards. The past is the past. We're trying to undo the deals. However, the future is looking very bright. More and more women are starting their own enterprises due to now being able to access knowledge and tear down borders with the internet. Well, we've all seen a lot of the ads on YouTube about the internet businesses. That's probably what they mean, but they don't make anything. Industry is what builds an economy, not the internet. The internet is just a good way to manage businesses and make it more efficient, but the actual making stuff is the domain of men. Plus the accessing the resources, the oil and the minerals and the metals, that's also the domain of men. Where it is easy access to technology, which was invented by men, there is the wellspring of women in commerce. This is the sixth and final wave of feminism, fem-capitalism. Many businesses have been started by women each and every day, like a lesbian cafe that went bust after a year. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. I may have something in my eye as I'm typing this. And we've gone through the fourth and fifth waves of feminism, from women's suffrage, property rights and political candidacy. But whenever women enter politics, the government budget goes up, all the way to journalist Kathleen Moran, never heard of her, the concept of future feminism. The sixth and female private ownership of business. Fuck, it feels good to write about that. And how are we doing it? Technology and education. If you have an internet connection, you can start a business, of course. But that's only an internet business, not a factory making things. But anyway, she goes on yada yada yada. And I love this. I was just writing my blog thinking to myself, where the hell are we in this wave of feminism? What you wrote here is exactly it. I'm not talking about your average white cis female girl boss, but our women sex designer and shop owner, an educator taking back sex and sexual freedom brings the world into a whole new level beyond. But if you think that sixth is the final one, it ain't. The seventh is the final one as the feminist train rolls on. The seventh wave feminism manifesto against the erasure and replacement of women. Now bear that in mind. On Sandman and the other MGTOW channels, there's been talk of having artificial intelligent robotic women to replace real women and artificial wombs. This could be that. And it says, the theme of the seventh wave of feminism is that the very old, widespread and deeply rooted evil that feminism fights has shape-shifted in the 21st century to something equally evil, and a piece of what came before, but now has a wholly different appearance. Despite what I feel it is an insidious consistency across the centuries with regards to the themes of disappearance, erasure, and exploitive alienation of women, the shape-shifting has confused and blinded many to its malign intent. Indeed, the transformation of this evil is so profound that what first wave or even second wave feminists would have decried as utterly misogyny is now treating by current wave feminists as somehow emancipatory, such as prostitution and gastral surrogacy. That could be a nod to artificial wombs. And she cut on, to my mind, that is a stunning example of Maya, the Buddhist term meaning the power or the principle that conceals the true character of spiritual reality. Alright, if you believe that. The mists of darkness are growing even more opaque, and my personal reaction is that it's high time to see this what it is before visibility becomes nil. That feeling is now or never is what prompts me to pen this essay at this moment in history. In other words, she's seen that the development of robotic women and near natural looking sex bots and the development maybe of an artificial womb is starting to worry her, and she's worrying that women may be replaced by them and thus lose their relevance to the human race if mankind, human men, can procreate without women. So, as it says, Ereo, against the erasure replacement of women. Nothing about MGTOW in all these articles, not a single sentence, but you can guarantee that MGTOW has been on the mind, but apparently we're entering the fifth wave of feminism to focus on encouraging, embracing and celebrating male tenderness and male gentility. That could be a tacit nod towards men not bothering to date anymore and thus leaving women to themselves. And the fifth wave is a backlash towards it, as it says. They spoke even of the value of male protection and a historical long-standing sense of safety being held in masculine arms and beyond. That but is just a tranny saying that, which is totally irrelevant. And whoops, silly boy. We have the workshops, but sixth and final wave of feminism isn't the sixth and final wave of feminism, no matter what she says, with women becoming fem-capitalisms. We've got the seventh wave where women are rebelling against the development of robot women and artificial wombs. This is the first thing I've found on these, so I'll have a look for next week, but I think I'm on the 20-minute mark now, so it looks like the MGTOW effect is having a widespread effect on women, and these articles show that women, they're not really liking it because they can't really manage on their own as they need a man. But this woman, V.W. Casslier, she's seen that the writing on the wall with men going to replace women completely with sex bots and artificial women, and she doesn't like it at all. That could be seventh wave of feminism, then we'll probably get the eighth wave of feminism coming along. Anyway, all know the routine, people. Like, dislike, it's completely up to you. Until next week, I'll try and find some more on these waves of feminism, but if not, it'll be something else. Right, that's it for now. Bye bye.